Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Legally Speaking with Rest the Case. And today we have with us Advocate Sumit Soni, who is a renowned lawyer from Delhi, and he specializes in crime. He is a criminal lawyer, and he is also a BJP spokesperson and the president in the International Human Rights Council. Welcome to the show, Advocate Sumit Soni.
Thank you, Ankita. Thanks for having
How
me
are you
with you.
doing?
I'm doing great.
So
Okay.
today's topic that we are going to discuss is property disputes and what are the rights of people when it comes to property. So beginning with,
Yeah.
what are the different kinds of property disputes you might have come across, which like is very unique, or what are different kinds of issues people face when it comes to property?
Well, property, when the term comes itself, so it refers to liquidity, some hefty assets, right? So when it comes to money, where there is money involved, there would be conflicts, there would be conspiracy, and there would be disputes. So yeah, as far as property disputes are concerned, there are probability of range of disputes. There could be dispute in brothers or siblings, let's say, because legally a girl child also is entitled to have the rights in her ancestral property. Okay.
Yeah.
So then again, it can be a dispute of rented property, leased property, where there you would rent out your property and you fall into certain hassles, legal hassles. Okay. And likewise, there could be, there are chances of certain fraudulent activities if you are not well aware of the procedure and you don't keep your records and documents intact. So you might entertain any kind of legal hurdle at any point of time. Yeah.
Yeah. So when it comes to like the most common two things that comes to urban cities is one is there is sometimes delay in possession which is not given by the builders. So in that case, what can people do to like what action they can take against this?
Yeah, they can file their complaint with RERA. See, nowadays, law and order has, provided is sufficient remedies to the property buyers. And there is RERA, that is a Real Estate Regulation Authority, okay? And it provides all your interests and safeguards intact, okay? Providing sufficient adequate guidelines to the builders as well as the sellers. So whenever you contact with a broker or whenever you buy a property from a builder, you first need to verify whether their project, builder's project, it is RERA approved, RERA registered or not. Okay. If they have got all the NOCs in place, all the approvals in place, okay, and they are duly registered with RERA, and even the broker who is dealing in the business of property selling and helping people into property buying. Okay, so they shall also get duly registered with the RERA, so you can rely on them and you can trust. Yeah, like you will fall at a safe place at the end of the day.
Right.
Yeah.
So coming to the second point, the which we face is the tenants and the landowners. So often there are several disputes like the the tenants are have like facing high price in the you know rentals, and there are many other issues as well. So what in that case, how the agreements are made and how the disputes are resolved, or sometimes like the tenants they don't want to leave the property. So in such cases, what people should do?
Well, as far as rent or amount of rent is concerned, it is completely up to the tenant himself or herself, okay, and between the property owner. If you pretty like a property and if you are convinced with the rent amount, there are no such guidelines on the rent. Yes, the other thing, as you said, like if the tenant doesn't want to vacate the property, certainly then there is law and certain acts and provisions that helps you. So in this regard, I would recommend any property owner who would rent out their property or give it on lease, so they shall duly have a rent agreement registered with the relevant authority. So once it is a registered document, so you have all your interests and rights saved, okay, and you can easily battle for your rights, and there wouldn't be any hurdles as such into procuring your vacation back from the tenant. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So now the biggest dispute that happens in India is inherited property. So, like when a person dies without a will, so there's a lot of disputes and discussion that what is going to happen next. So in that case, how is the property divided among that person's children or grandchildren?
Well, in case of interstate, uh, if a person has not, prepared any will in this regard, and he has not already determined who is getting what out of my property share, so obviously it is very common in India. So all such disputes would, I mean, come up, and yeah, I mean, it is up to family members at such point of time whether they can themselves amicably sort out the issue and decide their portion of property, okay, or they can get the legal remedy available to it, because legally, if a person dies, so his property would by default go into the favor of first line of his family, his sons, daughters, and if his wife is alive, so one share of property would go to the wife as well. So this is the
Okay,
provision. Yeah.
right. So that is uniform in all states.
Yeah, it is uniformed in all states. But in this regard, to avoid such disputes, I would recommend and I would suggest whoever your viewers listening this,
Yeah.
program, they should duly prepare a will, okay, property will, and get it duly registered, so that there wouldn't be any hassles, among the family members, and there wouldn't be any conflict, and things won't, linger on and going to court. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
huge lengthy process, and unwillingly it
Mm.
creates a lot of time taking, money taking,
Mm.
battle all the way.
Right.
Yeah.
So, like I recollect a problem that was happening in my friend's family. So there was this property, but the papers weren't like aligned because it was very old. It was I think gifted property or something like that. So the paperwork was very difficult to retrieve. Like it took 6-7 months to retrieve, and then it was finalized by giving a name. So like it wasn't a dispute, but the process was very lengthy. So are there like these properties which don't have paperwork, like it takes a lot of time to fetch it and uh, give it the owner's name, and then if the owner has died, then it is again further divided into the family. So like why is this process so like painstakingly long, and it
See,
takes a lot of
yeah.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, see, earlier, nowadays things are pretty changed. Everything is getting digitalized, and all the revenue record and registrar records, they are getting online. Okay, so things are getting simplified and convenient. Yeah, with the old properties, you are right, because there couldn't. There was not such a process followed thoroughly, and there could be lack of documents and relevant evidences and other records. So it can be a little complicated in that case with old property, more especially properties in rural areas, and agriculture land, I would say. Yeah. So yeah, it was difficult to sort out issues. If I already said, I mean, if the person is not aware, that generally people are not aware with the legal proceedings and legal
Yeah.
procedures, so they would only get a property, they will only buy a property, they will go to the registrar, get it registered, and that's it. But there are
Yeah.
certain other authorities that you need to have thoroughly executed your documents with, okay, and you need to have all the procedure from the very beginning. I mean, if you want to buy a property, there is a step by step process: search, survey, notice, register, likewise. So people doesn't know it. So search is like basically carrying out all the records from all the relevant authorities of that particular property. Survey is like already measuring the area of the property and the location determination and the evaluation. Okay. Notice is like to publish a notice in this regard, like I'm so and so person and I'm buying this property, and if anybody has any objection in this regard, so they can come up. Okay. So such a stipulated period of time would be given through this notice. Okay. So if during that time any objection comes up, so that transaction, that property transaction doesn't take place, or it would stand invalid. And if there is no such objection, you can peacefully get the property registered. And as I said, like there are other, I mean, the revenue department. Just for example, we are living here in Delhi. Okay. So if somebody is buying a property from DDA, Delhi Development Authority, so they would buy an apartment, they will get it registered with the registrar authority. Okay. And they will feel like, okay, we are done, we have bought the property and we have got papers. But it is not like that. Okay. So you have to have your title duly recorded and registered in the office of DDA as well. Okay. And apart from DDA, like Delhi Jal Board and the power, I mean, there are different power distribution corporation as of now in Delhi itself. So you shall have your ownership, your title records in all the offices, like Jal office, like power office, likewise. So there are so many things that need to be taken care of along the way, Ankita.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So like the ones that are the electricity bills and the gas bills, there also the names has to be recorded once the
Yes,
property is
everything has to be in your name, so the
Yeah.
records becomes more stronger and clearer.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because sometimes when the second person is buying, it's not a first bought property. So there's this whole procedure to change the name everywhere, like electricity bills,
Yes,
gas
yes,
bills.
and you have to follow it. People generally doesn't know it, and that is why disputes would I mean, arise. I mean, if somebody has some, wrong intention, so they might. Registrar authority is nothing. They are just taking away. I mean, they are just taking revenue from you. Okay, they are just keeping a record. Okay, this is the buyer, this is the seller, and this is the property. And as per the value of the property, they will get the revenue amount. Okay, for the registration of the property. That's it. It is in their record. And if somebody is having fraudulent intention, so they can go all the way again to the authority and sell the same property to some other guy, and maybe there have been cases. So one property sold maybe 3 times, 4 times. So yeah, that is the reason, Ankita.
Yeah, right. My question is how property disputes can be resolved, like apart from discussing internally, if they have to go to court, like what are the different ways they can do it?
Well, for that matter, they have to, serve a notice if somebody has, I mean, within a family or out of the family. If somebody has disputes regarding a property or portion of property, okay, they will be sending a notice to the other party first. like
Hmm.
these are my interests and these are my rights, and you are violating my rights and interests, and this is
Hmm.
wrong lawfully, and I can file a complaint or case in this regard against you, and you will have to face the penalties or reimburse me as per my rights and my eligibility. Okay,
Hmm.
so a notice has to be served. It would be a legal notice. A property lawyer or maybe some other lawyer, I mean, they can help you with the notice. And once the notice is served, certain time frame would be given in the notice. Okay, so within the stipulated time of notice period, the other party has to reply you back with their content of you know I mean, whatever their orientation is in this regard. Okay, and if it is justified, fine. Otherwise, you can go to the court and file a petition. Okay, court would determine, court would call upon both the parties, court would collect all the papers. Okay, court would determine whether the petitioner who has filed a petition, they have relevant rights and eligibility to file this particular case, and court has the criteria and authority to determine this particular matter. I mean, it depends upon the jurisdiction or the relevancy of the matter. Accordingly, the courts would determine. So yeah, so once, if it is determined and observed by the court, the matter would take place. Okay, and then on, yeah, as per the hearings and the protocol and the decorum of a particular court, so yeah, justice would be delivered.
Yeah, right. So there, like, a lot of people say about that ki property matters go on and on and on in courts. So, is there a way, like in future, sometime these property disputes can be expedited, like other cases are right now being expedited in other regards?
So it completely depends upon the circumstance as far as the expedition is concerned. I mean, there are chances. I mean, you have got a piece of land and somebody else has all the way suddenly come up, and they have burgled the piece of land, or they have scattered their stuff, or maybe some building material, or they have started constructing some structure on the plot. So yeah, you need to have an immediate relief. So accordingly, the matter would be taken up promptly, and you will be provided, I mean, in that case, you will be provided a stay order. Okay, against the party with whom you have dispute. I mean, if you have all your rights and eligibility in place, and it is your piece of land, and somebody else has either occupied your piece of land, or they have started building something over it, or they have just developed some camps on it and they have occupied. Okay, so yeah, you will have the instant remedies available as per the course of law, as per the circumstance, as per the case. Okay, so yeah, so you will get otherwise, certainly, if it is a civil suit, if it is a dispute. Okay, so as of now, we have a whole lot of load on the judiciary. Lakhs of, or maybe multiple lakhs of cases are pending. So just because courts and the number of judges are limited, even the number of advocates are limited till date in India. Okay, so we do not have that infrastructure. Okay, to take up the cases and deliver the decisions that rapidly. So yeah, that's the situation. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's one of the major issues. Like the cases, they go like one after the other, and
Yeah, because we
property.
have a, I mean,
Yeah,
we have a large number of population in the world, and I mean, to
yeah,
serve them justice, till date, we do not have. Recently, Chief Justice of India has also, I mean, it is efforts have been going over the time, over last I would
Mm.
say 2 decades, and things are
Mm.
taking shape, and more and more people are coming for the career of law and judiciary. So things are changing
Mm.
anyhow. But as of now, just because we have more number of cases in the courts lying already, so just because of that burden, so each and every case is not being taken, that I would say, yeah, so that it is time taking. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So I think that this was a very insightful conversation with you related to property disputes. So coming to my final question, what do you think about the current scenario of the property laws in India, and what can be improved according to you?
Well, as of now, as I said, RERA has already, provided sufficient remedies to the builders and the buyers and the sellers. So earlier things were, uh, worsen, but as of
Yeah.
now, yeah, with the help of RERA, it is no more complicated. It is just
Hmm.
about one's awareness, okay, and
Hmm.
alertness in this regard. Whether it
Hmm.
is buying, whether it is about buying a property or renting out a property or selling a property, you
Yeah.
need to be, aware of the procedure, okay.
Hmm.
Better you take
Right.
help with of some lawyers, okay, so they can help you with the document work and the
Hmm.
thorough procedure, so there
Yeah.
wouldn't be any hindrances. Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
because of lack of knowledge and awareness that disputes are arising. Otherwise there is no point of any dispute. I mean, RERA, it is, I told you, even if it is a broker who is selling or who is playing his role into selling or buying properties, so I mean, they have to be registered with the RERA, okay. So developers, if you are buying a property, if it is a builder property, so certainly you need to check all the licenses, all the approvals in place, then only buy a property. And if still some fraud arises, okay, so you will get adequate legal remedy, no problem at all. So you will get the justice. So yeah, it is no more that you will get cheated and there won't be any justice for you. You will get the
Yeah.
justice as per the guidelines provided by RERA already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, thanks for having us. I hope you had a great time with
Yeah.
us.
Yeah, I enjoyed the conversation, Ankita.
Thanks everyone for being a part of this podcast, and thank you, Advocate Sumit Soni. It was
Thanks to you too,
great
Ankita,
having
and
you.
thanks to your
Uh,
viewers too.
yes.